Oh, brilliant.
Who is actually in charge of our recruitment at Arsenal?
And then, do you know what? This is a great question. And this is a question I really want to actually, someone in the chat can ask me, because people like to give me enough abuse in the chat, right? If you are genuinely into the recruitment process in Arsenal, please understand, who are these signings coming in? Is it Berta or is it Arteta? Is it Berta and Richard Garlick and Arteta? Is it just Arteta and Berta is just getting the people Arteta wants? Nobody knows. It's not transparent enough, Tel. We all assume, right, that Andrea Berta is coming in now. But you're telling me that Andrea Berta was pivotal for Zubimendi? No, he was already bought in. It's come out that Norgard was identified by Arteta as a great signing that could bring experience into the midfield. So I don't know if the situation is Andrea Berta is being told, I want him, go and get him, and Andrea Berta goes and gets him, or what? I really don't know. I'd love to know that. I don't think anyone in the chat knows. So
I think Arteta runs your football club, mate. I'll be real. I think he's got so much power at your football club, it's mad.
Yeah, it looks that way, man. It looks that way.
I don't know how he's managed to wing his way into this power position. Like, you can understand Pep having power at City. You can understand Fergie having power at United when he was there. Even Wenger. But how Arteta's managed to wing his way into, I think, having a lot of control, way more control than he should have when he's won one trophy and spent 800 million quid.
3.
Oh, yeah, 3. It's crazy. It's crazy. If he don't win anything this year, man, he's got to go. He's got to go. Yeah. And any Arsenal fan at that point, that in my opinion, that's saying keep him, is an Arteta fan over an Arsenal fan. How could you? He has to win something, even if it's just a Carabao Cup. He has to win something this year. He does. He has to, man. You've got to lift trophies, but you can't just go for every year and win nothing.
Sorry, boys. You two are definitely honorary members of Standards FC, right? And I love that about you. I want to read you a quote. It's totally off topic. I'm really sorry. You know, United just signed that Leon Diego, that young lad from South America.
I didn't know that, but go on.
We signed him like in January. Some young up and coming wing back. His father's been interviewed by local press. Oh. And they've asked him, what did you tell your son before he left? Because he's now arrived in the UK. What did you tell your son before he left to join Man United? He said it translates to, don't fuck with me, my son. Make the most of these 4 years. Don't make any fucking mistakes or else.
Wow. No pressure.
There. That is no a dad. Pressure. See, again, my instant interpretation is maybe as a dad, is very much go there and enjoy life and play hard. But if I see you if I see you falling down the pecking order or not progressing, but then I see photos of you out in the clubs, out with the girls, out doing a madness, he's like, when you come home, I'm gonna fuck you up. I rate that, man. I rate that. Those dads are a dying breed.
That's a proper
dying breed,
pressure, mate. That is a proper pressure. Let me just quickly ask though, a question to LB, because I know LB was talking about the trophy thing, right? So where are you at if he wins the FA Cup and he loses the title by a point, bro? What are you saying? Yeah.
Wins the FA Cup and loses the title by a point.
Yeah.
I keep him.
Yeah, so would I. Okay, fair play. I didn't know if you, because I'm getting a lot of abuse for that. I mean, I get abuse when I'm positive and negative at the moment, but I think that's fairly positive, really. He's just won a trophy.
If you win the FA Cup
and he loses by a point, you keep him another year.
By a point, I'd keep him. I'd keep him unless, like, I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's hard, isn't it? It's a hypothetical situation, but yeah, I probably would keep him. If you won the FA Cup and you lost the league by a point, I probably would keep him.
Yeah, a lot of people disagree with that, and I'm cool with that as well. By the way, a lot of people are saying he's got to win the Premier League or the Champions League, or he's got to go, even if he wins a cup double. You know, there's people saying to me, even if he wins the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, he's got to go.
Manager that wins a cup double, man.
Yeah, I don't believe you do, but I don't even know I've got faith that he's going to win anything again this year. I just the proof's in the pudding for me, man. The evidence has been there for 5 years that we cannot get across the line, and signing these sort of players we're linked with. Unless Berta comes in and works his magic and does something in the last few weeks of the window, I mean, it's, wow, what a window. I just don't think things, I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't been wrong yet. Hopefully I'm wrong this year.
Well, the thing is, right, like, not being funny here, but you're not winning the Champions League next year. Like, so that's one trophy out, yeah? If you get the signings that you've just said you think you're getting, and Liverpool get the signings that they're going to get, you ain't winning the Premier League, in my opinion. So that only leaves you with the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. So you have to full send those trophies. I think Slot next year, I think what he should do personally is sack off the domestic cups and go big time for the Champions League and the Premier League, and especially the Champions League, because right, if you look at Salah and Van Dijk, yeah, if they don't fall off next year, they'll probably fall off the year after. Yeah, basically it's coming in it. We're waiting for it to happen. They are going to eventually drop off. They're not going to carry on playing mint forever. Like if I was him, I'd be looking at it going, what's a Carabao Cup, man? Do you know what I mean? I'll full send the Champions League. That's what I'd do if I was Slot. I'd full send the Champions League and the Premier League and sack off the domestic cups. Yeah. So that leaves a brilliant opportunity. I think Newcastle will try and win a domestic cup, but they've already won one now. So their desperation to win a trophy is not as big. So they're probably going to try and get champions. I think there's a great opportunity next year for Arsenal to win a domestic trophy.
Yeah. I get where I mean, I always think you should try and win all the trophies, but it's very hard. Very, very hard. But
you should have focus, can't you, Sam?
No, of course. And I think that's why as well, you know, when people say like winning trophy, I agree with your logic. Like when people say like winning trophies is all that matters. Again, I've always found it to be too much of a broad statement because of what you've just said. Because if they do sack off the League Cup and play kids in the first 2 rounds and get knocked out, but then they get to a Champions League final and they lose it. Yes, they've had a trophyless season potentially, but at the same time, we all know and they know, well, we didn't try to win the League Cup because we went for something else. I don't necessarily look at that in the same way as being crap in all the competitions and not winning a trophy, where some people go, well, if you don't win trophies, you're all in the same pot. That's where I agree with you. I think that it's right to do that sometimes because my club under Fergie did it. You're even Pep. You guys remember how hard you used to go for them League Cups? The last 4 or 5 years, you guys have just stopped it. And for anyone to say that Pep and Fergie are not winners and not serial winners is crazy. There just comes a point where you have to start prioritizing things, and that happens. And no, I agree. I do get where you're coming from with that. If this could be Arteta's last season, if he doesn't deliver, surely the same should be said about Pep if he goes trophyless again.
So I'm gonna admit it, bro. Yeah, Arteta's had what 6 years of winning nothing. And if my manager goes 2 years, you want my manager going out? Nah, mate, my manager, yeah, can do what he wants, bro, yeah, because he's earned the fucking right to go when he wants, yeah. Your manager's not won nothing. Yeah, how are you forcing your manager? Get these 2 names out of the same super chat, man. This is a disgrace. I'm here, bro. This is not good, bro.
I've got to say as well, you know, as a fellow Arsenal fan, okay, clip that one up, please, everyone. Clip that one up. This is where again the trophy conversation becomes weird, and if you don't win for a year, you're the same as a loser that hasn't ever won anything. It's nonsense. There's credit in the bank. There's an opportunity for Pep to be sacked. If they come 8th and he's falling out with players and he's arguing with the board and everything else, then yes, but that's not the same. That wouldn't be the same reason as sacking Arteta. I don't think there's no reason for. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I'm going to defend. I defended City twice in one show.
What's happening?
I know, it's crazy. Arsenal didn't win it, no trophies. City sent home in the Saudi Cup. Chelsea move on to the quarterfinals. You deserve this karma.
I'll tell you what, Ronan, yeah, if you win this trophy, you've won more trophies than Arsenal under Arteta.
Crazy.
Conference League and a World Cup. So listen, Ronan, yeah, that'll be funny if you win the Club World Cup, mate. You know what I'm saying? So go win it, bro. Go win it.
Nonny news is blown out of proportion by Plattenberg. Also, don't take this word over Ornstein, who stated we want a third versatile attacker, Eze or Rodgers, primarily.
So I
Nonny,
did see this tweet.
I did see this tweet.
It doesn't say Noni Madueke is last resort. It says that they're looking at Madueke, Rodgers, Eze, and they were all in the same bracket. So they're the kind of players they're looking at, and hopefully we don't get Noni Madueke. We're looking at Rodgers and it, because I would say if we don't get Rodrigo, I'd take Eze and Rodgers together. That'd be 2 brilliant signings for Arsenal, I think, because they can both play kind of in the athletic. They've got athleticism in midfield. They can play out wide. They can play an attacking midfield. I think both of them could do good jobs. So I think those 2 signings would be good if we don't get Rodrigo. And obviously you need the striker still in Sesko or Gyökeres, right? I think that would be good. But getting Noni Madueke, nah, it just ain't for me, man.
This year says, I just find it odd that Ornstein, the most reliable Arsenal journalist, only this morning said he's just on our list. Then a couple of hours later, there's an offer.
There might be like the offer. The offer might be like not like a legit one. Like might just be like a test the waters sort of situation. like open talks type thing, and he's just gone a little bit too soon or whatever.
Yeah, and I also think as well, this is where I love transfers. Everyone knows I do a lot of transfer talk. I love it to bits, right? However, this is why I don't like this whole they've agreed personal terms, or personal terms have been no problem, or there's been unofficial talks, or it's like we know what's probably happened, and this is right of Arsenal. This, even if he is the last resort, you've still got to do your due diligence, find out what the player would want. Would he be interested? Whether he would accept what your offer is. So, of course, an offer may have been sent out. And for me, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sign him, though, because this is also something that's been so widely written about in the last 4 or 5 years, is that players can agree personal terms with 4, 5, 6 clubs in a summer. Go, yep, that will be acceptable. Yeah, I like that offer. I like, before they actually make their mind up about where they're going to go. So, yeah, I do think there's an element here of it being blown out of proportion slightly. But he's on the list and he is there. The same with Man United. I don't think we're going to sign Christopher Nkunku. It has now been clarified that Christopher Nkunku is like a last resort. If we can't get Gyökeres, Mateta, Watkins are all ahead of him. If we end up like, oh God, we're in a big dire straits, United may look at that as an option. So yeah, I wouldn't panic about it just yet, but he's on the list. Arsenal is the official recycling centre for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Tell, please have at least one sensible fan on the show. I do. They are sensible. They just see it differently, and then your job is to challenge them. It's kind of the. I mean, I don't ever know what anyone. One thing I know, I send you guys off sometimes, send through an agenda, but the maddest bit is I think sometimes people think we know what we're all going to say. I know I'm considered a little bit of a dictator, but I never tell these boys what to say. Potsy, surely you're not upset about a backup goalkeeper signing. Neto played 1 game last season. Who cares who the backup is? It's not that deep.
I actually think it's a good signing. I can't lie.
No, you're right. You're right about that. It's a mess signing for me. I'm not bothered. I don't really care. He's only going to play. Neto played 1 game. Like I'm not really bothered by that one, to be honest. That and the Norgard one are just bleh. They don't make me excited, but they're backup cover players.
The one thing I would say that they don't need to do. This is what Chelsea, I think, made this mistake. You don't need to make every signing have a fanfare, because that annoys people a little bit. I agree with that. At Chelsea, every time they signed a kid, then it would go through Fabrizio and it was massive. And it's like, remember when they signed that Kellerman for 20 million last year?
Yeah.
He took the ball. It's like some signings, just get them through the door and don't tell anyone. Evil George is worthy backup to Noni. You mean Evil Saka? Chelsea players actually call him that. I saw it on some little footage that was out there.
Evil Saka. Jesus.
We know Mikel Arteta is crap. Let him do what he wants. Don't give a fuck, is what AMT says. Arsenal are not after winning trophies. Cronky is what I said here.